Junior Cycle High Level 2015 Sample Paper 1 Question 3. This is a sets question. This is one of the problem solving sets questions where they give you a set of data and you're asked to plant it onto on a Venn diagram and then be able to sort of answer some questions from that data. When you're doing these questions, it's always important to make sure you go through the information that's given to you at least several times, and even check it off as you go along to make sure that you've included everything. And you won't necessarily deal with every single thing in order. You might be jumping around because some of it is needed before you can deal with other bits. But we'll just work our way through, and I'll demonstrate the process. So we have 100 students. So we can say the universal set has 100, and that's checked off. We have tea, coffee, and soft drink drinkers, and we obviously have several different parts that overlap the intersections and other subsections. So let's try and fill out in these 8 different sections. So 24 had not drink any of these 3. Well, that's outside of all of those sets. So that's the 24 that doesn't drink any of those drinks. 51 drank tea or coffee, but not a soft drink. So tea and coffee, tea or coffee. It's all of an or means union. So tea or coffee, but not a soft drink. So we can't include anything that's in the soft drink. So what we're talking about is those 3 sections. So we can't do anything with the 51 yet. So we'll come back to it. 41 drink tea. Well, that's the entirety of that. Not just this section here, it's the entirety of the circle. If it was tea only, then yes, it would be this section. But it just says tea, so it covers all 4 sections, sorry. So all we can do is simply say that tea is, there's 41 people in the tea set. Excuse the pun. Then moving on, we've got 8 drank tea and soft drink, and is in section. So tea and soft drink, so there's that section there, but not coffee. So not part of this, so we're just talking about this section here. These are the people that had tea and tea and soft drink, but didn't have coffee. So they can't be inside that coffee set. So this section here is the 8. 9 drank a soft drink and coffee, soft drink and coffee, and is in sections. It's these 2 sections here. So those 2 bits are both 9. So we can't put that information in yet. We have to move on a bit further. Next piece of information is 20 drank at least 2 of the 3. At least 2 of the 3. That means either 2 or 3. Okay, so 2 drinks are these 3 sections. 3 drinks is this section. So this 20 represents all those in these 4 sections in the middle, the intersections, i.e. it's not the one tea only, coffee only, drink only, or none at all. So again, we can't do anything about that piece of information. So finally, move on to the last piece of information. 4 drank all 3. Well, often it's the last one in the list that actually unlocks the whole process, because once you know what that intersection, if they give it to us, even if it's that they decide that that section is called X, but whatever the situation is, once you have something for that middle section, a lot of the rest of it unravels and opens up. So if we go back to, for example, the section that was 9 drank a soft drink and coffee, it was this section here, okay, soft drink and coffee, so that's the intersection of drink and coffee. Is 9, so if the whole of it is 9 and the middle section of all 3 is 4, this obviously has to be 5, the difference between 9 and 5, because 4 and 5 adds up to make 9. And then this last bit that we had to skip over, the 20 that drank at least 2 out of the 3, it was these 4 sections added together. Well, we've got 3 of them. So we're able to take those 8, 4 and 5, which is 17, away from 20 to get our remainder. So 17 away from 20. So just to remind you what I'm doing there, I'm taking away 8 and 4 and 5 away from 20. And that gives me 3. Now, there's one piece of information we still need to deal with, but before we do that, if we actually look at our Venn diagram, we know for T, the 41, okay, which includes all of tea drinkers, and we have 3 sections, and we can take them away to get our final section for the tea only. So 8 and 4 and 3 away from 41, and we get 26 for the tea only drinkers. And now finally we can look at this final piece of information. 51 drank tea or coffee but not soft drink. So tea or coffee is the union of tea and coffee. Or means union, but we have to take away the soft drink. So we're taking away the soft drink. So what we're left with is these 3 sections here. So we know we've got 29, and we take 29 away from 51. And the coffee drinkers only is 22. So we've gone through now all our information as given to us, and it's all checked off, so we know we've dealt with it all. Now there is one section that I haven't filled in. We've done 7 of them, but there's one section we haven't. It's the soft drink only drinkers. But we know that the entire universal set is 100, so all we need to do is take those 7 sections away from 100, and we'll be left with this section here. Now all those 7 sections that we have already adds up to make 92, so therefore we have 8 in the soft drink only section. And now all 8 parts of this 3-set Venn diagram, including the universal set, has now been found. And whatever question they now ask us, we can actually supply the answer. Now, whatever the questions below are asked, whatever you have put into your Venn diagram, if you're able to read off that Venn diagram correctly to answer the questions as asked, then you'll get the marks. So one tip I would say is if you have any problems filling in the Venn diagram, you could always just fill it in with any numbers, and as long as you use that Venn diagram correctly to answer the questions below, then they'll give you the marks at least for those last questions, even if you lose marks for your creation of the Venn diagram. And so, moving on to those sections, find the probability that a student chosen at random from a group had drunk tea or coffee. So tea or coffee is the union of those 2 sections, and it's a case of just adding up those values. And we get the sum of 26 and 3 and 22 and 8 and 4 and 5. Now what I would say to you before I actually work that out is we know this entire section is 41, so realistically all we're actually doing is 41 plus 27. And our answer is 68. Now that's the number, but we want the probability, so therefore the probability is going to be divided. We have to divide that by the number of people in the universal set. So as there's 100, our probability is 68 out of 100. That's 68%, 0.68, or you could write it as a fraction, in which case ideally you would reduce that fraction down. Moving on to the last part, we're asked about what's the probability that chosen at random from a group drank tea and coffee but not a soft drink. So what's that section? So tea and coffee but not a soft drink. Tea and coffee is the intersection but not a soft drink, so we're talking about this section here, the 3 people only who did tea and coffee but not soft drink. So just in the case of reading of the value 3 and taking it out of the total of 100. And so our answer to that one there is just a straightforward, no workings required, 3 out of 100, or 0.03 or 3%. One thing I would say to you whenever you're asked about probability, generally speaking, it is best just to write your probability as a fraction. Reduce it down afterwards if need be, but just write it as a fraction. There's no need to turn it into percentages unless it specifically asks you, and likewise, there's no need to write it as a decimal unless specifically asked. Just leave it as a fraction. Simplest thing to do.